Hi guys, Aviation JFK here, back at you with another video. Today I'm going to be showing you how to build a model airport, specifically this model airport that I'm showing you right in front of me here. This specific airport is made with paint pens. It's quite a common thing to do, like people do it now, build model airports out using paint pens. I'm also going to be showing you various different techniques that I used that helped me throughout this process of building the airport. Also, if you're interested in the terminals that are like in shot right now, I have a video on my channel that shows you how to build terminals like the two you see in front of the camera. So yeah. I'm also going to be showing you like various different tips and tricks that you should use to get the best results for your airport. But first, let's go through all the things you're going to need. So you're going to need a ruler. This one, preferably one that has this kind of like flat on one side and curved, or like a different shape on the other side. You're going to want to have obviously your paint pens. So I have 5 different types of paint pens. So I have 2 fine liner ones, which help me do like, so I have 3 thick ones and 2 fine liner ones. The fine liner ones are like specifically useful for doing like outlining of like yellow lines as such, because you get those at airports a lot. The white is like, you can see just like little details. And then the thicker ones are like predominantly for like making like the larger lines. For example, the yellow lines you see everywhere, that was done with this. So yeah, you're also going to need, you're going to have to make these, but like templates for like the planes you're going to have. So here's the largest one. I just put my plane on the piece of card and then just like kind of drew a gate shape around it. And then I did that for, so the first one you saw was an A380 gate. This is like a A330 maximum size gate. And then here you have a maximum size 757 gate. So yeah, and then also you're going to want to make like curved templates. I use this piece of cardboard. Those are going to be specifically useful for doing like curves like this. So yeah, some of the curves are different sized, and some things you're going to have to do freehand, like these bits here, like these big corner bits. You're also going to need a pencil and an eraser. This is a peanut eraser, just ignore, it is an eraser. But yeah, once you've gathered all those things, that's pretty much all you need. You might also need a bit of sandpaper for like mistakes and stuff. But those are all the supplies you're gonna need for like when you've like made the base coats and stuff for your airport. Because like as you can see by the terminals, there's a cement coloured paint. That I use my airbrush. I just bought some paint from my art shop and just like painted over it. And the grey you see here is just like a basic primer that you can get. Oh yeah, you're also going to need masking tape. Preferably a thin roll like this is useful. But yeah, I went through about two cans of primer for the 3 MDF boards. But yeah, that's pretty much all you're gonna need, apart from like the basic stuff, like a ruler and stuff and pencils. That's pretty much about it. So yeah, I'm going to show you the build process of how I built my airport, and I'm going to give you a walkthrough. And the biggest tip and the reason why you should get a ruler that's flat on one side and like beveled, or like whatever you want to call it, on the other side, is so that when you're drawing lines on the table, your paint isn't actually touching the ruler, only the pen is, which is exactly what you want. Otherwise you're going to be left with like bleeding, which I'll show now with this red pen. If I was to do this ruler just flat and normal, so like here you have the ruler. See, like if you pull it, when you pull it away, it gives like this bled effect. But when you do it with the ruler upside down, only the pen is coming in contact, and you get the really crisp line. Another tip: avoid doing as much freehand as possible, because that's where you mess up the most, or you're most likely to mess up. See, I haven't got the steadiest hand, so here you can see, like here it's just, I had to freehand these curves and outlining. It just doesn't look as good. But like when you go to like the straight taxi lines, since I did these all with ruler, it looks pretty good in my opinion. The same goes for the gates. Like everything here is done with a ruler. The only bits of freehand that are freehand are like these tiny little bits on the end. So it's fairly self-explanatory, like what you're gonna need everything for. So yeah, let's get right into the building of the airport. First thing you want to do is get some MDF board from your local DIY store. For me it was Lowe's, and that's for the people in America, and in the UK it's B&Q. Then you're gonna get your primer, preferably like the base color, the color that shows up the most, and you're gonna try and spray it on as evenly as possible. Now, to do this as best as possible, once you've got your base color and it's dried, you're going to want to mask off for your second color. For me, this was the cement color you saw before. The best thing to do is if you're going to be using spray paint again, which I'm going to be using an airbrush, which I have. You're going to want to mask off everything, as you see me doing here. I'm just masking off everything that's like not going to be the cement color. As you see here, I'm airbrushing over the area which is going to be the runway. You're going to try and do this as evenly as possible. This will give you the best result. And yeah, so I went through quite a lot of paint. You're going to have to thin it down if you're going to be using an airbrush. Otherwise, you can just use a spray can again. I've found that using the airbrush is quite a slow process. It took me about like an hour and a half to spray paint the second section you see me doing right now. So if you can avoid using an airbrush, it's probably better. Spray can, I would go the way of the spray can. Once you've painted all the ground colors for your airport, you're going to want to let as much of the big paints dry. I left my cement color to dry for about 3 or 4 days because it was still soft after, like, it was still dry to the touch, because when I tried drawing on it, it would just like scrape away the paint. So it's a good idea to get like started on the basic taxiway markings on the grey parts of the airport, because like that's where it's dry. And just remember, always try and use the ruler upside down, and also do everything with exact measurements to get the best results. This is an optional thing you can do. You can outline all the yellow lines. This is like most realistic to my airport, which I'm doing, which is JFK. All the yellow lines are outlined. It's quite a like tedious process, but like it's well worth it. It's quite like tricky as well. It's quite fiddly to do it like really nicely. So if you can, as I said before, use your ruler wherever you can, and remember to use the curved side of the ruler downwards. So here's the airport with like the lines drawn around the yellow bits. Gives it like a way more realistic look. It is a tedious process, but like I would definitely do it if I was you. But yeah, I'm pretty sure I went through like a whole paint pen doing this, so yeah. But definitely worth it. I think it looks really good. Happy with how these exits came out. And tomorrow we'll be working on the gates. So by the time you're finished with all the grey markings on the grey part of the airport, your cement, in my case, will probably be done by this time. And now's a good time to start on your gates. As I showed before, the templates that I used, you want to lay those out and like make markings of where every gate is going to go, and so you can see if it fits or not. And then you make markings on every corner of where like the lines will meet, and then you just like draw basically. And I'd go color by color, and I don't know if you saw, but I was drawing like specific lines first so that I didn't have to go over the wet paint, to avoid any of the smudging. Another thing to take into account when drawing your gates and making the markings, you should have a mark of where your terminals are going to go exactly, so that you don't just like randomly guess where your gates are going to go. And yeah, I recommend when drawing the markings around the template, have your terminal in place, because then you can kind of see like how the distances of the planes and stuff. Before I close off this video, I just wanted to quickly mention I got the whole idea of doing the paint pens for my model airport from a channel called Aviation 18. He makes really good airport updates, so I'll leave a link in his channel. I'll also leave a link to his how to build a model airport video. I hope you enjoyed my video on how to build a model airport. I really enjoyed making this, and if you could leave a like if you enjoyed the video, that'd be great. Please consider subscribing, as we're only at 10 subscribers at the moment. I post new videos every Friday, from unboxings to airport updates. So yeah, that's pretty much about it. I hope you enjoyed, and that's it. Till next time, signing off.